Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ken Busby, your cultural czar, member of the board of the Tulsa Symphony, and we're here today with our musician moment. And this time, you're going to get to meet somebody really special. You're meeting not only an oboist with the Tulsa Symphony, Kristin Weber, but Kristin is the person behind the scenes who's been scheduling all of the interviews with all of our musicians for these musician moments. So, Kristin, it is great to see you today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's so fun now to be on the other side.
Absolutely. I kept wondering, when are we ever going to get to do your interview? Come on.
I know. I kept pushing it off until the end.
That's okay. That's okay. You want to get everybody else in, so that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But it really is good to see you. And these musician moments, I got to tell you, you've heard it too, but have just been so popular with people. I hear from people all the time. And it's so neat to get to meet the people that they see on stage. And of course, you have a dual role. You're on stage. You're also in the office doing things like this. But it's so nice for people to get to meet you, and they feel like they now know our musicians so much better.
Oh, yeah. And I've loved all the performances, and I've been sending them out to my friends and family. So they've all been enjoying watching them, too.
That's really neat. That's really neat. So I guess we should let everyone know, how long have you been with the Tulsa Symphony?
Let's see. I guess this is going on my second year.
I think that's
my
right.
First season, I was kind of on trial and had to play a concert after my audition. So this is my second official year.
That's great. That's great. Well, we're glad to have you. And of course, you've been so involved working with our executive director, Keith Elder, and so forth. So you're just really in the TSO family.
Oh, yeah. And it's been so cool being on the other side. Because, before I'm just showing up, I'm playing my oboe, and I've really, really enjoyed learning about the other side of how an orchestra is run.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It really is.
Things you would just have no idea. Oh my gosh, I had no idea that's what it took to make an orchestra happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm learning all about it. So.
And then you're also principal oboe with the Wichita Symphony Orchestra.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and of course you play with other symphonies as well.
I play in Arkansas, and so I'm, traveling around this area, and Tulsa is the perfect home base.
That's neat. That's neat. Yeah. And how long have you been based in Tulsa? Just that time?
This is my first year. I actually just finished my degree in Boulder, Colorado, and I moved here in September. So it's my first full year in Tulsa. So back to the Midwest.
Well, we're glad to have you back in the Midwest. This is a good place to be. It's a good place to be. So, one of the things I do like to find out is how did you come to play the oboe?
Oh, okay. So this is kind of a funny story. In 5th grade, I started out on the clarinet because my middle school band teacher, she's a great band teacher, but she said, we don't need any oboes in this band. We absolutely don't want a honking, squeaking, duck sounds overpowering the ensemble. So she said, you cannot play it. So to get a middle schooler to do something, just tell them no.
Right.
So that whole 5th grade year, I had in my mind that I would play the next year. So finally she broke down, and after a year of playing clarinet, she said, all right, fine, here's the instrument, but you have to get a professional teacher. There you go. So that's how I chose it.
I'll be darned. Well, how interesting. I wonder why she even said, we don't want an oboe. It's just sort of I get why. We don't want an overpowering yada yada, but it's just interesting to take that approach. We don't want an oboe.
I think it takes quite a while for an oboe to sound nice, to be honest, when you're starting out.
Of course it does. That whole double reed thing and so forth. Because I played the clarinet a little bit when I was in middle school and high school,
awesome.
So I have some familiarity with the wind family, but still that double reed idea was just like, wow. That's got to be really difficult.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of band teachers, I think, are like, oh, man, I don't want to get into the double reed world, unless they're more familiar with it. So that's why they're always recommending you should have a teacher who can help you make your reed sound good.
Sure. So you finished your degree, Colorado. Oboe is your instrument. Did you always know you wanted to be in music, though?
I didn't really know. I had a lot of ideas of what I wanted to do when I was younger. I had a big passion for photography, which I still do a little bit of now, but I also, in my undergrad, I started a double major in urban and regional city planning, and I had internship with the city of Raymore, Missouri for a whole summer, just working as an intern doing that. And so after that summer, I figured out, I don't think this is really for me. I still finished my minor in that. But I think it was kind of towards the end of my undergraduate degree that I was like, I can't see myself doing anything else. Like, I have to be a professional musician. But I have a lot of interest, so.
Wow, yeah. Well, that may beg this question then, or whatever. But if you weren't an oboist today, if you weren't in the music profession, what would you see yourself doing? Would you be in city planning? Would you be in something else completely different?
Well, that's tough. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if I'd be in city planning. I could see myself doing something kind of in business, or sales, or being around other people, or photography, or something artistic. That's a hard question. I'm not sure. I should have known you were going to ask that.
Well, just
the other ones, but
having learned about city planning, I was just curious. Like, well, that's really interesting. Okay. Well, listen, speaking of photography, any chance you don't have to do it right this time, but any chance you might share a few of your photographs? We could put them with your interview when we put it up for everyone.
I'd love to.
That would be nice to see. Yeah, that'd be nice to see. Okay. I'll let you select them, but that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be fun. So you still do photography some. So let's talk a little bit about what you do. I know you keep busy. Do you also teach some?
Yeah, so I teach a private studio of all ages. I had a lot of beginner students when I lived. Everywhere I've lived, I'm really good, I think, at teaching young students, because, again, not many people just start out right on the oboe. They're usually coming from clarinet or saxophone or flute before they switch over to the dark side.
Right.
The oboe. But so I love working with beginners who are just learning about the instrument and the reeds. So, but I teach all ages. So yeah, okay. I teach privately. Yeah.
That's okay. So you have a lot of patience then, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you have patience in trying to put up with me and scheduling these interviews. So I know patience is a virtue of you.
Me.
No, it's been great. So you talked about photography though. Is there ever such a thing, teaching and everything you're doing, to have downtime?
I don't know. That's hard for me. I haven't quite figured out the balance yet, because I feel like I'm just someone who wants to go. And when I was in Colorado, I was really passionate about hiking. And so if I wasn't practicing or making reeds or working on schoolwork, I would just be out on a mountain doing something outside. So kind of trying to find my new interest in Tulsa this year. So yeah.
Have you been hiking Turkey Mountain any?
I have, yeah. I've gone up there with my dogs and stuff like that. And I've been getting a lot of different suggestions of fun places to explore in Oklahoma. So I'm going to try and do that.
You should. We have the great sand dunes, and
I just saw that. That looks super fun.
Those are great, and we do have a number of state parks that have some good trails in them. So there's quite a bit for that. Although a little warm right now, but still.
Yeah,
if you're careful.
The humidity I'm not used to yet. So.
No, I was just saying, coming from Colorado, it's like, oh, I love that dry weather. Yeah,
me too.
Yeah. Well, we'll just leave that at that. What kind of dogs do you have?
I have a golden retriever named Bella, and then I have a corgi named Nugget. So I'm a dog fanatic.
Yes. I have a German Shepherd, so I understand.
Aww.
I understand the love of dogs. That's neat.
Yes.
And what great names you got too, Bella and Nugget.
Know.
Those are awesome.
And Nugget is so perfect because he's super small for a corgi too, so it's a perfect name for him.
That's awesome. Awesome. We were talking a little bit about hiking and so forth. Do you like to cook?
A little bit. I find I don't really have the patience after I'm, working so meticulously on a reed when it comes to like cooking or stuff like that. I'm just trying to do simple, easy. Sure.
But I was going to say, if it's not asking too much too, I was going to ask you to describe a little bit when you talk about making reeds and so forth. I think that everyone would like to know how you do that. Can you describe it a little bit for us?
I can describe it. Yeah, I could talk. How long do we have? I can talk for hours on that.
Okay.
But I'll just give a brief overview. But I think maybe not a lot of people know. But that oboists make their own reeds, all professional oboists, and it's something that
because clarinetists don't.
Yeah.
And so I think it's I've always known that about oboes, but like I have no, most people have no idea that you would make your own reeds.
I know
Yeah.
it's a kind of a complicated process
Mm-hmm.
that's passed on from teacher to teacher to
Mm-hmm.
you, because
Mm-hmm.
it's I mean about pursuing a future in playing the oboe. You want to start out as soon as possible. So um, you start learning at a young age, and it takes lots and lots of practice to get good at it. But you're ordering in bamboo.
Right.
Basically, a specific type of bamboo called
Mm-hmm.
Arona donax from all over the world. I get cane from Germany or China, Texas recently.
It is a whole other country, so yeah, okay.
No, but you just all over, and you start the process of sorting it, picking out the right tubes that look a specific way, and gouging it to make it thinner, and then you are shaping it, you're tying it on, and you're scraping it. And so all throughout this process, there are many different places where things can go wrong.
I bet. I bet.
Temperature, the humidity, barometric pressure, how long you've played on each reed. So, maybe a reed will last for, you might play it for one day and you're like, this is dead. Or maybe it'll work for 2 weeks. You just never know. So
Wow.
it's something that's constantly changing, and you always have to be able to adjust. And you're working on reeds every day as an oboist.
I was going to say, that sounds like it. So you really are.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
Wow, the oboe lifestyle. I can see a T-shirt with that on it.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm sure there is one, but yeah.
I'm joking, but it is a big time commitment. Yeah.
So do you have? I'm just asking, but do you have like 3 or 4 reeds done at any one time, so that in case something happens and you need one, you sort of have one ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, I probably have. I wish I had some cases up here,
That's
but
okay.
I usually have like 10 or 20 reeds
Oh,
that
wow.
are with me.
Okay.
And I always have several reeds in each beginning stage, from beginning to middle to end. So maybe I'm finishing up a reed for a rehearsal, or I'm trying to revive a reed a little bit for a specific performance, because depending on what you're playing too, you might play a different type of reed or adjust it accordingly. So
Wow.
good and bad, you can kind of customize to what you need to play, but it takes a while.
Yeah, obviously. I had no idea. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Kristin, thank you so much for sharing some time today with us, and
Thank you for having me.
and teaching us about reed making and what goes into it. I know I learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience did too, so that's great. But I also know that we're going to get to hear you perform now on your oboe. So what are we going to get to enjoy?
Well, so I've been working on for the past 3 months several pieces for a virtual oboe competition that it's pretty cool. It's the first one ever, but
Wow.
when COVID started, this was created, and anyone across the world can apply, and there's specific pieces. So I've narrowed it down to 3. I just finished recording all of them yesterday.
Okay.
So I haven't chosen which one I'm going to post yet, but I think it will be a piece by Alyssa Morris, who is a living composer who actually teaches at K-State, and she's a great musician and a great teacher and a great composer, and she plays the oboe too. So I think I'm going to choose one of her movements to share.
That's awesome. Well, we will certainly look forward to that, and also wish you well in the competition.
Thank you.
That's very exciting. A virtual oboe competition. So it is a whole new world.
It is, yes.
Well, Kristin, again, it's been a lot of fun. I'll invite the audience to sit back, relax, and enjoy your performance. And I will look forward to seeing you in person again, I hope, very, very soon.
Yes, me too.
All right, you take care now.
All right, you too.